we're going to be making pickled watermelon rinds, which will show you how to get the most out of your fruit. Now, you can always put your rinds in your compost pile, but why waste them when you can make something delicious? These are the ingredients we're going to need. We're going to need, first and foremost, a watermelon. We're going to need granulated sugar, allspice, cinnamon, those are mustard seeds there, cloves here, candy and pickling salt, and white vinegar. Now, any brand's going to work for you. These were just what they had at our store. So if you have something in your cabinet that's a different brand but the same thing, then use that. That's going to be just fine. So in the bowl we have watermelon, and we have scraped off most of the red innards, and we have the green outside. If you look at it, you'll see we've used a peeler to peel off the very outside of the rind and then cut it into pickle-sized pieces. Once it is this size and ready to go in the bowl, we're going to put on it a half a cup of pickling salt. So if you could add that, please. Once the pickling salt is added, we're going to let this sit for how long?
For 12 hours.
12 hours in the fridge?
In the refrigerator, yeah.
Do we need to stir it up?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll go ahead and stir it up. Okay, now it's 12 hours later, and if you'll recall, we put the salt on the watermelon, and now it looks like it's sitting in water because the salt extracted all the water from the watermelon, and the pieces are significantly smaller now than they were before. So what we're going to do is we're going to drain this out in our drain pan. Watch the excitement. Go. So we're draining all this salt water out of there to make sure that doesn't get all salty. Okay, now that it's drained, we have some salt water left over, and that we're just going to get rid of it. You don't want to put that on your garden because it's so salty it'll just kill everything. Put it on weeds, I guess. Take care of it. Now we're going to rinse the extra salt off of our rinds by pouring in some water. You can do this over your sink. We just didn't have good enough light inside. So here we go. Rinsing it all off. Get all the salt off. Because when these are done, you're not going to want it to taste incredibly salty. That's not what we're going for here. Draining it out. Now that the watermelon rinds have been drained, we're going to put them back into the pot. And then we'll dump 8 cups of cold water right on top. Once you have the 8 cups of water on it, you're going to put it on the stove, bring it to a boil, and boil it for 10 minutes. Okay, now we're boiling here. We're going to boil for 10 minutes. It smells good. It smells like watermelon in here. Now that the watermelon has cooked for 10 minutes, we're going to drain out the water. Okay, now we're going to make the pickling liquid. We're going to add a half a cup of water, 3 cups of sugar, 2 cups of white vinegar, 5 cinnamon sticks, and a tablespoon of cloves. Get those in your spice aisle. Then we have a 1/4 of a teaspoon of mustard seeds and a half a teaspoon. Sorry, if you're going to use whole allspice, it's half a tablespoon. If you're using ground like we did, then we used half a teaspoon. Now that it's all together, we're going to take this inside and put it on the stove. We're going to bring it to a simmer, turn off the heat, and let it sit for an hour. So this is a long process. It's not complicated. It just takes a while. So this has been on the stove just a couple of minutes, and it's already simmering. You can see it's starting to get not quite a boil yet, but it is bubbling up. So we're going to turn off the heat, and now we're just going to let it sit and mingle for an hour. Now that the pickling mixture has been sitting here for an hour, we're going to go ahead and add back the watermelon rind that we prepared earlier. It's going to splash up, so watch out. Now that it's all added and mixed together, it's going to cook for 2 hours over low heat. Okay, now that our rinds have had a chance to marinate in the liquid, we're going to put them in a jar. It has to be glass. You can't use plastic because it'll make it taste weird, I think. We're using an old applesauce jar. Kind of like recycling. It's kind of messy. If you have a funnel, you can use one. If you're feeling industrious, you could make one out of a milk carton. They taste delicious. They taste kind of like little sweet pickles.